We have a wild New York Yankees trade update in regards to two of their key players who are injured for long periods of time and what the New York Yankees plan to do to remedy that situation. As with where the Yankees stand right now, there's a lot of fear with this team, and Brian Cashman dropped an absolute bombshell report on the New York Yankees trade plans, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're subscribed to the channel or if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit the button. It really does help us out a ton. We got videos every single day. You guys do not want to miss out. All that being said, let's jump into the video. With Gerrit Cole and Giancarlo Stanton being out extended periods of time, Cole being out until next season with Tommy John surgery, and Giancarlo Stanton not having a clear time of return, the New York Yankees are obviously going to have to do something different in order to save some of their team, in order to make the World Series still and be one of the best teams in the AL East. And Brian Cashman actually spoke on this after a lot of Yankee fans were wondering what moves the Yankees would be making to remedy this situation. And now we have a good idea of it, and we're going to jump into that. Take a look at what Brian Cashman said as he revealed, when we've had these conversations many a time over, you hope you can withstand injuries and avoid injuries from spring training up through the draft, because going outside the organization is just much more difficult to do so. So we'll rely on what we have, and we'll explore what is limited available in the marketplace. So Brian Cashman not giving too many words of encouragement right there about how the New York Yankees could remedy the situation in the shorter term. However, he did leave it open that the Yankees will likely do something at the trade deadline in order to make the team better and stronger. And though there are still guys they could add in free agency who could help the team, such as a JD Martinez on offense and a Lance Lynn when it comes to pitching, the Yankees seemingly don't have too much interest in doing that as of right now, which is really, really surprising, as the Yankees desperately need more help. I mean, you lost a key bat in Giancarlo Stanton, you lost your ace in Gerrit Cole, and it feels like there's so many reasons why the New York Yankees should just go and make a move for someone, so Brian Cashman has a real team to coach and can put together more than what feels like some solid players, but a clearly lacking lineup for the New York Yankees, both when it is in regards to their batting order and their pitching rotation. Now, taking a look at what was also mentioned by Cashman, he said, we'll just evaluate what's available, and at this time of the year, very little is available. Normally, the more significant opportunities don't exist until the trade deadline. So once again, Brian Cashman kind of deferring this question and saying, yeah, well, we're going to roll with the team we have right now, and we'll see at the trade deadline, which clearly, you know, it's not that surprising to hear, honestly. Like, the Yankees, what they lost in their hitter is their DH. And given, yes, that is a big deal, because Giancarlo Stanton's one of the best hitters on the Yankees, especially in regards to the way he played in the playoffs. It does make some sense why the New York Yankees might be just kind of holding off on making any moves, because what if Stanton can get back in a month and then all of a sudden making a trade where you gave away a lot for a guy who's going to be a DH, or paying JD Martinez a lot of money for when he can only be a DH, then would make a lot less sense for the New York Yankees, who do want to avoid that. So that would lead to some of the problems being fixed. Now, in regards to pitching, Marcus Stroman, who was initially not even expected to be in the rotation, is now the fourth arm, because obviously Luis Gil's out until June, Gerrit Cole's out the whole year, so Stroman would be backed up to the fifth arm, if nothing else, who had a 4.31 ERA last season. It consistently got worse throughout the year, as Stroman usually falls apart as the year goes along. In 29 starts last year, had a whip of 1.468, so it does lead to not the exact guy you'd want in this situation. It is very worrisome to see how the Yankees are kind of going about all this in regards to their pitching, but there is a saving grace, as the Yankees, they do have Will Warren, who's put up very good numbers in spring training after an abysmal few games in the regular season. He had 3 losses in the regular season in 5 started games with an ERA of 10.32, so he did not get the job done. However, in spring training, he's at a 1.54 ERA in 3 started games. The man looks awesome for the New York Yankees, and likely is going to be the 5th starter until Luis Gil's there, as the Yankees, their options are pretty thin after that. And by thin, I mean they're very thin after that. The next guy up is Carlos Carrasco, who had a negative WAR last season at minus 1.2, went 3-10 with the Cleveland Guardians, a team that made the playoffs, mind you, had an ERA of 5.64. On top of that, it is important to note that this man is old. He is 38 years old, and he's pitching like he's 48 years old. Carrasco's never been the world's most efficient pitcher. I mean, an ERA for his career over 4. But on top of that, most of his seasons have just been over a 4 ERA. He's just been a guy who's been around the MLB for a while and is a fine fourth arm, but not anymore. Carrasco is long past his glory days of when he was the solid arm for the Cleveland Guardians, and the New York Yankees cannot seriously believe that Carrasco is going to give them anything, so you have to imagine they are going to go with Will Warren instead, as the Yankees are looking pretty much entirely internal right now. That's what Brian Cashman has said. As Cashman mentioned, we've obviously got big commitments already. The inventory that is going to be available is going to be limited, and there's costs associated with these acquisitions. Some of it is in terms of prospect value. Some of it is in terms of money. So obviously this goes back to the man in this photo. Nice, Hal. As per usual, Hal Steinbrenner, not really a big fan of spending any extra money or going into the tax threshold, despite the fact that he's worth, or that the Yankees alone are worth $8 billion. So he absolutely can. It's not like he can't. He just doesn't want to. He wants to penny pinch, and that's led to the Yankees now having a few holes in their roster after being the best team in the American League last year, and it's very frustrating to watch. I mean, there's no way to act like this is not super, super upsetting to see the New York Yankees kind of not be able to find their way at all right now. It's just not what you want to see at all out of this team. It's definitely really annoying that Brian Cashman is now limited because of Hal Steinbrenner and all this stuff, because the Yankees, they desperately do need help. I mean, when it comes to hitting, it feels like they've made up their mind with their DH until Giancarlo Stanton's back, and that's Dominic Smith, who's actually had a good spring training with a .954 OPS. On-base percentage is solid. Average is .318, so Smith has shown some positives in this 22 at-bats that he's had, including 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. The man's been good. He has been good, and you have to count on it carrying over if he becomes the Yankees DH. He'll be on the main roster, so you imagine the Yankees will play Dom Smith at DH. Sometimes you'll also play Aaron Judge at DH, and when you're playing Aaron Judge at DH, you'll play Trent Grisham in the outfield, and Grisham has also been pretty solid in spring training. Now, the average is bad, but the slugging is good. He has 2 home runs and 10 at-bats. 3 RBIs, 1 stolen base, has an OPS of 1.157 in these 10 at-bats. So he's not making contact, but he is showing some power, which is basically what Trent Grisham has done for most of his career. He's a very strong guy, excellent outfielder when it comes to fielding the ball. So there is that. There is some bright spots to Trent Grisham's game, of course. He's a fine 4th outfielder. He's just not a consistent contact guy. So you got to be careful to where you're putting Trent Grisham in the lineup. But the Yankees will use him at some point to give Aaron Judge some DH, as well as Aaron Boone has been very open about the fact that he does like to give Aaron Judge some DH time when Giancarlo Stanton is healthy. So we will see that as well. But still, this is not the team that we want to see right now. This is not where we feel like the New York Yankees should be. And it feels like because Hal Steinbrenner doesn't want to spend any more money, even though the Yankees got that insurance money on Garrett Cole, it feels like Brian Cashman has said, all right, well, Hal doesn't want me to spend money, so I'm not going to be spending any money, really. I'm going to keep this team the way it is, and maybe we'll make some smaller moves or some moves if we can cut money in the process. But outside of that, we're not really going to do much. And that definitely should be scary for Yankee fans. I'm definitely worried about it. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Yankees.